All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into one of the world's most incredible spiritual texts, the Bhagavad Gita. This was actually a request from Sachin J, Karnik, the founder and CEO of Energy and Personal Excellence LLC. So what we're going to do is unpack its central message, how to find this unshakable peace and act with real skill, even when you're in the middle of life's biggest battles. So picture this. Our story kicks off on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. The horns of war are about to blow, but the hero of the Pandava army, the legendary warrior Arjuna, he looks across the field and suddenly realizes he's facing his own family, his cousins, his teachers, his elders. They're the enemy. And in that single moment, he's just completely overcome by despair.
I mean, his crisis is it's profound. He turns to his guide, Krishna, and he asks him, "How can I possibly raise my bow against the very people I love and I'm supposed to revere?" His resolve just shatters. He throws down his weapons and collapses in his chariot, totally paralyzed by grief.
So what is really going on here? Why is this incredible warrior just frozen? You know, it's so much deeper than just being sad. It's a total crisis of perspective, where literally every single path forward feels fundamentally, deeply wrong.
Okay, so on the one hand, you've got his dharma, his sacred duty, the right way of living. And as a warrior, that means he has to fight for what is just. But on the other hand, fighting means killing the very people who make up his entire world. He is completely trapped in an impossible situation, and his mind just can't find a way out.
And the Gita has this amazing way of framing the problem. It calls it a horizontal vision. Arjuna is totally lost in the branches of the world. He's judging everything based on what he can see right in front of him. Victory versus defeat, fame versus shame, gain versus loss. And from that point of view, every single option leads to disaster.
So what does Krishna do? Well, he doesn't just pat him on the back and give him a pep talk. No, what he offers is something way more radical. It's a complete shift in perspective, a totally new way of seeing the world and his place in it.
Krishna basically starts by telling Arjuna, look, your whole problem, all this grief, it's all based on a huge misunderstanding of how reality actually works. You're grieving for something that can't even be destroyed.
And this is where he drops a bombshell. He introduces the concept of the Atman, what we can call the true self. Now, this isn't your body, it's not your personality, it's the immortal essence of who you are. And this self, Krishna explains, was never born, and it will never die. It is eternal, it's indestructible. And let me tell you, this one idea, it changes everything.
See, what this means is that Arjuna is getting the unreal, or asat, completely mixed up with the real, or sat. The unreal, that's all the stuff that's temporary, our bodies, our situations, even our relationships. But the real, that's the one thing that never ever changes, the eternal self, the Atman.
And Krishna uses this incredible analogy to explain it. He says, death isn't the end, it's just a transition. The eternal self simply discards a worn-out body the same way you or I would take off old clothes, and it just moves on to a new one.
And that is the shift to vertical vision. So instead of being totally lost looking side to side at all the branches, all the worldly gains and losses, Arjuna is taught to look up to the unchanging, transcendent root of all existence, that eternal self that nourishes every changing thing in life.
Okay, so this new perspective is pretty mind-blowing, right? But it immediately brings up a really practical question. If our true self is eternal and can't be touched by what happens in the world, then how are we supposed to live? How do we act? And this brings us right to the heart of the Gita's practice, karma yoga, the yoga of skillful action.
Now this is where Krishna just flips the script on what yoga even means. For him, it's not about twisting yourself into a pretzel. It's about a state of mind, an inner posture of just profound balance. He lays it out plain and simple. Samatvam yoga uchyate. Equanimity is called yoga. What does that mean? It means keeping a steady, even mind whether you're dealing with success or failure, pleasure or pain. You give every single action your all, but you're totally cool, totally balanced on the inside, no matter what happens.
But here's the thing. This inner balance, it isn't passive. It's not about just checking out. Think of it like a launch pad, the stable ground from which something really powerful can emerge.
And that power, it's right there in this second amazing definition. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. Yoga is skill in action. When you act from that calm center, when you're free from all the anxiety about the results, your actions become truly skillful. You're not all tangled up in fear or greed, so you can finally act with total clarity, with real purpose, and with incredible effectiveness.
So you can imagine Arjuna is totally fascinated by all this. I mean, this guy's a warrior. He's a practical man. So he asks Krishna a really direct question. He says, okay, this all sounds great, but what does a person who's actually living this way, what do they look like? How do they talk? How do they walk? What's the deal?
So in response, Krishna paints this incredible picture of the Sthita Prajna. That's the sage with unshakably firm wisdom. And what's so cool about this is that Krishna doesn't talk about their clothes or their job or anything on the outside. Nope, he describes their inner world, a mind that's free from craving, free from fear, free from anger, a mind that finds all of its happiness entirely within itself.
And to explain it, Krishna uses this absolutely perfect metaphor. He says a sage can, at will, pull their senses away from all the distractions of the world, just like a tortoise pulls its head and legs into its shell for protection. And get this, it's not about shutting down your senses. It's about having conscious, skillful control over your mind.
And he's not done. He gives us another stunning image. The sage's mind is like a vast, deep ocean. Think about it. Rivers of desire of all the stuff from the outside world are constantly flowing into it. But they can't disturb that deep, profound stillness. They just get absorbed. The sage stays full, complete, and totally unshaken. And in that state, they find true peace.
So you see, this ancient conversation on a battlefield, it's not just some old story. It gives us a really powerful framework for navigating our own, crazy modern lives. It really all boils down to one thing: choosing our point of reference.
So, are we living horizontally, valuing the branches? For a scholar, that's chasing publications and applause. For a yogi, maybe it's chasing special powers or visions. Or are we living with a vertical vision, valuing the root? That's when that same scholar starts valuing the orientation of their thoughts toward truth itself. That yogi starts valuing inner stillness. It's this huge shift from looking for validation on the outside to finding connection on the inside.
And that really brings us to the final, powerful question that Gita leaves us with. And it's not just a question for some warrior thousands of years ago. It's for you. It's for me, right here, right now. It's a call to look at our own lives, our jobs, our relationships, our goals, and to ask ourselves honestly, what are we really serving? The fleeting temporary branches of worldly success, or the deep, eternal root of our own true self?
This explainer comes to you from the Religious Studies arm of the Energy and Personal Excellence LLC program, which was created by Sachin Karnik. Now, for any of you who want to dive deeper into these ideas with the community, there are daily online satsangs, and hey, all are welcome to join. For more information, you can contact Sachin J. Karnik at the email address that's provided in the description box below. Thank you for watching.